I'd like to call to order our council meeting for February the 1st, 2021, Nelson, Georgia. If you could lead us in a word of prayer, please. Okay. Mr. Albert. I wasn't there.
Heavenly Father, we just thank you for your always being present. We thank you for the love you have for us, and we ask that you will speak to everyone in this council, that you will guard them, and that your will be felt, and that you will bless each one of them, that they will continue to walk and follow the journey that you have for Nelson, that you are honored, and all the citizens of Nelson will be honored and glorified through your actions. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen.
Thank you. Thank you. James, would you lead us in the pledge
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can I get a motion to approve the agenda for the night? February the 1st, 2021.
I'll make a motion that we approve the agenda for tonight.
I'll second.
All in favor? Unanimous, thank you. Okay, now we have public appearance for the zoning ordinance revisions.
This is just public.
Or is it just public appearance now?
This is just regular public appearance.
Sorry, this is just regular public appearance. Sylvia?
There was somebody, I'm going to jump in for a second, because there was a guy that was going to try to come down. We've had two people come in that have requested we put speed bumps back up. One of them was Justin Brown that bought the house. It's the first new house on the left going up. He has the blind child in town. We've got trucks running up and down Blue Ridge Avenue, but he's had a couple close calls with his kid. And he came in and specifically requested that. And there was somebody else, I think I know who it was, but I don't want to misquote and say the wrong person's name, that they requested from Ricky that we put it back up, and that request was on Cherokee Avenue for the same thing. So, just FYI. And Justin's actually going to try to get in here tonight, but I don't think he's making it. There's only goes a little bit further when it's the actual resident versus me relaying the message. So, food for thought.
And that's on both the hills.
Blue Ridge and Cherokee. Yeah, we've had a couple people say stuff on the old Nelson side down towards the neighborhoods, but that hasn't been recent. I know initially it all started on Blue Ridge, which was Mr. Duckett, the guy that was originally there before he had passed away, was the one that really got the ball rolling on that. And so we've had several that have come in requesting in that area again.
Cherokee was one of the ones too that they requested on, and there was two people on that road that had requested speed bumps.
I think I know who they were. I just don't want to say to somebody and it's the wrong.
It's the guy who I'm looking for. Who was that? It's on.
That's Bill Walters, I think.
So Bill Walters was one of
The
them.
other one was,
Thacker at one time.
well, that was one, but there was another one on the other side. And like I said, I'm 95% certain because it says Ricky, but I don't want to say the wrong name. I think it is. I'll tell you afterwards, and you can verify it. I just don't want to throw some in the place if they're on person.
Can we give Pickens a call and ask them if they can just sit up here and see what's going on?
They can some, but I think it's just an ongoing thing. It's the big trucks and stuff too. I know we're having issues with them up on the Pickens because people go around them and go over the sidewalks and the yards on the little side streets coming down the hills. It wasn't as much of an issue. It's more the speed and stuff coming down.
Nathan, you live on Blue Ridge. Have you seen any of that? Do you have any issues? I know your kids are on the road though.
Yeah, they drive they're way too much.
Are you
I
guys
don't know,
opposed?
the speed bumps that we got last time, Whether you go over them slow or fast, they're terrible in a car. You know the humps, like, those are like, they're almost like a things you pull up to when you park. That's those last speed bumps we had were pretty. You know, they didn't have a good radius to them or whatever or anything, but if we had some of those, that if you slowed down, it was actually
You can do the
smooth.
humps, I think they run at about 1,000 each. You buy them in sections, I think to do a full section, going from memory, so don't quote me. I think a full section was running about 1,000, but if you were gonna put a couple of them up and leave them up, I don't think it would be a bad investment, but we've got several $1,000s worth of speed bumps sitting in there that we can put up in one of the auction sites or something. And speaking of auction sites, the next government auctions make that. So we need to try to throw the truck in the next one anyway. If everybody's good with that, because I don't think we're going to bids on sealed bids, which we'd also discussed. He's supposed to come and look at it the last time in December, and we literally just missed each other by like a day and a half. We had it, but it wasn't a government auction, so there's a chance it wouldn't have done well anyway, so.
See if we can then get where to start.
He said he would jump in and get it started, I think, but we're paying interest on it, it's just sitting, so.
See if we get the contract or we.
And I think we did do some on that road before we put them down the first time. But we can do a new one. I'll give the department a call and see if they can do it. Sit down a couple of days and just give it and let us know what they're saying.
I just hate to see us cover the roads there with them again, you know. There is a problem there.
Yes, sir.
They make a couple of different types. I know you are talking about the speed humps. They also make like a tabletop type. It's a little bit wider.
I think that was in Woodmont.
And then you have the big speed humps that we have in some areas that neighborhoods request and things like that. But that tabletop really slows people down.
I think those are the ones Woodmont put in, because you don't, it's like,
It's
I used to go through
asphalt,
there all the time, you didn't, it was viewed over there.
Right.
but they're made out of asphalt, aren't they, or?
Yes, sir, I believe so.
They're permanent, so we need to make a decision if we wanted to put permanent ones down on Blue Ridge. In Cherokee. So be thinking about that. We can look at that when we come back together. If you want to get a couple prices on those kind, and I'll get with Pickens County and request them to come out for a couple of days and just do some speed checks for us. Maybe a day or
Weekend.
yeah, and a weekend.
It's bad.
Get it do it on maybe a Saturday and for a couple hours at a time.
Do they have speed boxes that they can put up?
We've done that, and y'all actually did it. They did it, but it's a short term, like it's up for, I think last another for 2 or 3 weeks maybe.
But if it's something that we wanted to just check,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure that we can help out with that.
And it did drop the speeds. I mean, it was like people saw it and they dropped it, but it's not.
Well, that would save on resources for Pickens, and I know they don't have any. Could you put one down here on Blue Ridge for us?
We could.
Okay, can you get with California?
Yes, ma'am.
We checked on mine.
I did, I have the prices in there on them, because they keep emailing me and asking if we're gonna buy one or not. 'Cause they run about $4,500, because Evan had even called and asked about that, if we were gonna do that one time, because they put one down by, I think it's Ball Ground Elementary. Because it flashes and it has the solar powered, whatever. I mean, it's a chunk of money to put in, but if it's gonna, but it's one of those things too, do people get used to them after a while and then just kind of ignore it? Or is
Yeah,
it?
and it's one of those things where you're trying to get an average speed through there, where if you have to make that decision of, you know, do we want to put a permanent speed hump there, it kind of gives you an idea of how fast they're really going.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, everybody that sees it, you know, automatically thinks, well, when that thing flashes, taking a picture or something like that, you know. It's just to get your attention and let you know that you're going over the posted speed limit.
That'd be good if we could get like a 7-day study.
Right.
We appreciate it.
No problem.
The hill past, up the hill from the plant, that's the worst spot.
Yeah, that's where.
Coming back off the hill.
Coming off the hill, yeah, coming down towards the plants on the right.
I've seen them come up here to the stop sign and stop before it. Literally from here, not even stopping at the tracks, trying to catch air going over the tracks. There's a forerun that needs to come through here with the kids stand up by the sunroof. GSP's been in here a week, just saying. Just a little there.
Okay, anything else?
That was all that has popped up past a little bit.
All right, next up is item 7, approval of the minutes for December the 7th,
We
2020.
have to do public hearing.
Where you at?
We did public hearings.
Oh, there you go. Sorry, 6, I saw public hearing, public hearings. Public hearing for zoning ordinance revisions, and I know that did we only have one person that signed up?
I think so, unless somebody else put it in, that's the last one I saw was Mr. Albert.
Mr. Albrook, do you want to come and
We have the school here on 185 Blue Ridge Avenue. And if you have passed by, we have had an old sign that we used in Kennesaw and Ball Ground that is 3 by 5. But I have reluctantly, I didn't want to put it up because I was waiting for your decision about the new sign
He
ordinance.
has been in several times trying to do this, but I've asked him to wait until we figure out what we're doing, so we don't.
So what I wanted to show you, we have put together what it would look like to put up a 3 by 5 sign perpendicular to Blue Ridge Avenue when you go out. It's not going to be as ornate as the one you see leaning on the floor. It's going to be more melting into the environment, but it's still going to be. So my request is if we have the ability to put up that sign.
So can we grant him the ability to put that sign up?
I have questions.
Go ahead.
Generally, Susan and I talked about this some today, and I'd emailed you, Chief, I don't know if you had a chance to get it, which then goes back to all the stuff that we're doing tonight, because there was stuff in there that we are getting rid of, but there was a clause in there for exemptions, which one of the exemptions would have exempted them, allowing them to put a sign up that was up to 32 square feet. From what we read, it sounded like if it was attached to the building, but then if you read further in, it made it sound like if it was put into the ground, as long as it met setback requirements. But it was part of the stuff that we were getting rid of. So there was some weird stuff in there, so.
The goal here is to get rid of anything. Our sign ordinance is required by law to be content neutral. I mean, we can't say these types of signs that say this get these rules, signs that say this get these rules. It's got to be, no matter what it says, everybody's just the same rules.
Yeah.
So that was the goal. I don't know how it shakes out at the end of the day as to this particular situation.
Well, it was like what was gotten, there's nothing left, I don't think, that specified dimensions.
I think that there is, but I.
Unless we were, and that was like, because Susan and I were looking
Yeah,
at it
and
this
then
morning.
I went home and was reading
Okay.
again this evening, and on 112.8 on the new ordinance, and that's not, it's not stricken out. It says freestanding businesses are allowed 3 signs. Only one of the 3 can be a freestanding sign. And then there was something about it being...
Is that what's going in or what we're getting rid of?
Oh, and then in residential districts, it says it can be 4 square feet with a maximum height of 4 feet. And that's number 3 of 112.8.
Right.
So,
And I think that was staying in, wasn't it?
yeah, that stayed in.
Where's that at?
Yeah, I took a chunk of I took all the stuff from our old stuff and put it in the second packet. The stuff that we're putting in is the first packet, under section 6. The new stuff is in the first packet, that's the stuff that Jeff sent over, and then I went through zoning ordinances and pulled everything applicable and tapped into the second one.
So would this nullify Jeff, would this new ordinance nullify what we have in our ordinances?
No, it's just amending it.
It's amended.
What I was talking about was in our old one, which would be second packet, it's page 79. It's 112.7 exempt signs, number 3. And it's one of the ones that we're supposed to be taking out. But it was making it so that if you had a church, it was for informational bulletin boards for public, charitable, educational, religious institutions, when located on the premises of said institution and affixed to a building wall. Bulletin boards may not exceed 32 square feet in area and shall be located in a manner that said bulletin board will satisfy the required setback requirements for the zoning district in which the bulletin board is located.
And so I was taking that out because that's about the content of the sign.
Okay.
Instead, we just need to have standard sign sizes for, really, the idea is a standard size sign for whatever district you want. Right now, it looks like residential district is 4 by 4, or 4 square feet. Maximum height of 4 feet is what is in here right now. Now, people can apply for a variance to that, or you can change your sign size if you want. Now's the time to do it.
So what about the churches? The church,
Actually, I didn't propose to delete churches. We probably should, because again, that starts to become really about the content of the sign, probably.
So if the church has already got a sign up, or?
Their grandfather.
Their grandfather did.
As long as that sign remains, yeah.
Right. But 4 square feet is not really, that's 2 by 2 more or less.
Yeah.
But the idea is because it's a residential district, you normally don't have large signs in residential districts.
Right.
That's usually a political sign, a real estate sign. Normally, you're not seeing a,
Could we grant them, could they get a variance on the sign?
They could. I just didn't, that's why I was telling him to hang on, because I didn't want him to spend money on something, telling me what it is that we were doing.
Yeah.
But our rules, the stuff that's in here, there's so much that, like, one thing contradicts another, because there's, like, if you look at the last 2 pages of this, there's literally 2 things that have sizes in here.
and I was proposing eliminating that table.
Yeah, but it's like, but a lot of this is just contradictory to other things that are in here. So it just, you read one thing and it says this, and you flip back to this, and it's, because I was pulling stuff up that was saying in the area that he's in, it was only showing he could have 2 square feet. And Jeff had found something else that was saying it was 4 square feet, and it's all over the place.
We could look back at whether, now's the time to put this in. We could look back at whether, for example, churches and schools are treated differently. If you wanted churches and schools, I don't know if that's necessarily content specific. Instead, it's really more about the type of use that in a residential, right now it says churches, for example, in residential districts, you do get 32 square feet. You could have that apply, I think, to churches and schools, if you're comfortable with that.
That sounds good to me.
So we can work on that and tweak that one for next
add
time.
that. Okay, we had, Keith wanted to say
Yeah,
something.
I think when I read it, the language seems to apply to larger cities where you have strip malls and specific sections of businesses, and then you have residential area. Nelson doesn't really have any of those elements to it, so you don't have a church or business potentially sitting next to a home like the Marble Company, for example. So it seems like the language is hard to interpret for Nelson because the nature of the city just doesn't have business areas and residential areas separate.
Thank you, Keith.
Yep.
So if we changed it to churches and schools, would he still need to apply for a variance or no?
What size were you talking about?
3 by 5?
15 square feet.
No.
15, so that'd be fine.
Yep.
So does that mean we're keeping the 32 square feet then?
4?
For churches and schools.
Yeah.
Churches and schools.
I'll change it.
Okay, can we still vote on it tonight with that change?
You don't vote tonight anyways.
Okay. It's just a public hearing, so it's
your
next
first
week.
review
Okay.
up and your public hearing, and then you'll vote next time.
Okay, that makes sense.
So will he be all right to put his sign up now, or we have to pass this before he?
Well, I think they're still working on the sign.
It'll be done in about a week.
Okay.
Thank you,
All right.
appreciate it. Well, that's good to know.
Just to clarify, does that allow that business to have any other signs on its walls?
You mean the school?
Or the church? Would a school or church still have allowed to be, have a sign on its structure as opposed to freestanding sign?
Yes. 3 signs. 1 freestanding. It doesn't really say well what the other 2 are.
And then you can have directional signs too, like entrances and exits. I saw that somewhere too, but it's, I think that was in another.
Is there a square footage limit to those affixed signs?
I think
There
that
should be,
was-
I'd have to look to see.
But it was the
If
2.
you didn't ask me, I could have told you. I'm thinking you're right, because Susan and I went through a lot of this this morning trying to figure out some of it. That was on the one that had the highlighter, which was a lot easier.
And I'll go back through and make sure with the changes that it matches up and if there are any other missing dimensions that y'all need to decide.
Okay.
Well, just something, that way somebody comes in and asks me, no, the county idiot, not, well, let me see. Those are really fun
Yeah, if you could
conversations.
get us back something in the next couple weeks, and we can get it out to the council members, and they'll have that so they can look. And you guys be looking as well, and if there's something that you see in there that we might need to look at further, we can email you. Anything else on the public hearing for zoning and ordinance revision?
We'll do something with the height of it too. Have you ever seen anything with the height? Because there was a section in there on how to measure the height, but we couldn't find anything that listed how high it could actually be. Because I think that was in the 2 charts that we were getting rid of.
Yeah, and it shouldn't, I mean, we could do a new chart. I mean, a chart's a good way to do it, but that one just
That one's
seems
terrible.
inconsistent with everything else. And so maybe we
It
want to
didn't.
create a new one. That might be a good thing to
We're in
do.
it's the second packet. This is like the packet that I pulled out of our current zoning stuff and just made copies that apply to the changes.
It's almost in the very back date, it looks like this.
It's under section 6. Yeah, it's the last 2 pages in that second packet.
I'll look at that. I mean,
The
doing it in
second
the
one's
form
are
of the chart
hard
would
to
be good, but I think we need a
Just one
one
that makes sense.
and it fits in the ordinance. That one was just kind of stuck in here.
And I think, so they might have made changes previously and then not gone in and taken out the old stuff that contradicts some of the new stuff. Because that would make sense.
Okay, I'll work on that.
Because there were revisions done in '03, but then there's other things in there that were revised in '08, and then revisions done in '11. That I think sometimes it was like stuff was stuck in without removing the old stuff.
Okay.
Just thoughts.
All right, we'll tighten it up.
Okay. Do we have anything else on the zoning ordinance revision before we close it? Do I just close that or do I have a motion? So we're going to close the public hearing now for zoning and ordinance revisions. Move on down to approval of minutes for December the 7th, 2020. Can I get a motion to approve those minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Yes. All in favor? Yes, thank you. Department reports. Come forward, it's not Lieutenant Simmons anymore.
I saw that, I wasn't gonna say anything.
Uh-huh.
So I guess the billboard I was gonna put up for the sheriff's office, the city of Nelson Patrol, we probably can't do that without approval. But, month of January, it was, pretty slow up here. Looks like we had one domestic dispute that actually turned out to be a civil dispute. We had stranded motors on Church Street, which we assisted. I think, the jackknife tractor trailer on Kennesaw Avenue at Blue Ridge probably caused some headaches for a short period of time. I guess it bottomed out. We get that all over the county, believe it or not. That's not something that's unusual. but trucks going down the wrong way. And then we had one suspicious person who turned out to be a resident out on Church Street. But just an update with the ball ground precinct real quick. We're planning on starting that second quarter, which will be probably around March, April-ish, where you'll start seeing more of us up here in the city and around the area, so that's a good thing. And we're supposedly going to have a couple of supervisors and a deputy or two, so we'll be right here around the corner from it.
That'll be nice.
It will, I'm excited. And I think the people that we have coming up here are excited, and this will be something new that we'll enjoy, and you guys will reap the benefits as a community.
We appreciate it too.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah, free to come in and get coffee.
Yes, absolutely.
Please pass that on.
Next up is mayor's reports, and really the only thing that, I haven't done much this whole month, but I did speak to a guy with the North Georgia Regional Commission. We've had a guy by the name of Mr. Green calling here just on and off the last 2 months. He's wanting us to sign up for this broadband. It's for North Georgia Regional Commission, and it's a broadband initiative that they're going to be putting on their North Georgia Regional Commission. It's is that
Northwest Georgia Regional Commission.
yeah, but it's their thing that they do. It's their 5-year plan. I can't remember the name of it.
It's county urban.
It's Northwest Georgia Regional Commission. It's not. Anyway, there's a term and my brain is blank, so I apologize. Anyway, it's going to be on their paperwork. Like it's like our capital improvement plan, but it's North Georgia Regional's plan for 5 years. They're wanting to put they're wanting me to sign up for that, and I'm not comfortable doing that without the council doing it, because I asked the question: is this going to allow them to come in and put?
It's handed over such a
Well, it's handing over stuff to FEMA. That means they come in, they cut you out, and they tell you what's going to go on in the city. I'm not for that. Second thing that I didn't agree with is I asked them, I said, are you going to be able to come in and put all these cameras on our, on our telephone poles and stuff? Well, eventually it may come to that. I'm not for that either, but I don't know, and I know you're looking like, I did the same thing, Jeff. I was like, what is this? What am I signing up for? Well, to make a long story short, they really couldn't tell me what we were signing up for. So I told them when they could tell us what we were signing up for, then I would take it before the council and we would talk about it, and then I'd let them know. So that's where we are with that. And right now they haven't given me anything back. So supposedly Mr. Green's going to be getting something together for us. But they really can't tell me. Do you know anything about it? Have you heard? Is it an initiative in?
This is Pickens' inspection that this is on the other end.
Yeah, this
Well, I
is
guess
Pickens.
you do talk to them all day, so I'm surprised they haven't.
It could be nobody's told me. I don't know.
Okay, well.
Nobody's shown me or sent me anything from it.
Yeah. I'm not all about Big Brother in the city, I'm just saying.
Yeah, at this point, I don't think we need.
So, anyway, I told them that if they could get me something that would tell us exactly what it is, then we would talk about it.
Can I say something?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so John and I attended in Pickens County. We attended a meeting with the same organization where their representative came in and explained, and if I can just say, you have every reason to be concerned of who they're connected to and the plans that they have. So I just wanted to commend you in not getting swept away.
Yeah, I really didn't like the verbiage that they were using, to be honest with you, because it pulls control away from the council, it pulls control away from us, and
Yes.
I didn't like that. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I don't think that's a good thing for us. If we had an emergency in our city, we've got people that can handle it, and if you sign this paper, it's giving FEMA the right to come in and they take over, and I don't want to do that. So, just so we're on the same page. But thank you. I didn't see that meeting, or I probably would have went. If you hear something like that again, let me know.
Okay.
I would love to, I would definitely go to stuff like that because it protects our city. Should I bring up the cleaning in here? Or just hold it on here?
That's done the other room.
Okay, so I'll just wait to do that then. All right, that's all I have for right now on my stuff. We'll move on down to the finance report, and Miranda is out today. She's gonna get some stuff together for us, and
The dollars are all in there.
is it all in there? So if you got any questions, then you can get back with us and we can get you some answers.
Yeah,
on
all the
that.
bank balances are in the packet.
You guys,
As of Friday.
yeah, you guys review those, and if you have any questions, get back with us on it. County fire report, and I'm gonna turn that one over to you.
This is the fourth quarter. And there was a total of 21 incidents in the city as compared to 7,102 for Cherokee County. 11 of those were ambulance transports. The average response time is 9 minutes and 6 seconds. How's that it?
Thank you, appreciate that, Kelsey. All right, we'll move on to number 9, which is unfinished business. Discuss and vote on Kennesaw Avenue drainage project changes. We had a meeting today with Jeff Morton and one of his project managers, Barry Holbert, was here, and they discussed some changes. Did you send those out?
Yeah, all that's
They
here.
are here, okay.
That's all that stuff. It's verbatim through him, so I'm not misinterpreting it as.
So, and Susan was here with us. Anyway, we've got some changes. Those changes are $10,000 to $12,000. If you read, you guys can take a look at what Barry sent. But we did meet today. We were scheduled to meet on the 13th, and because a lot of us had sick and stuff, we couldn't. But based on the discussions with Crescent View Engineering, a budget of $10,000 to $12,000 should be sufficient for us to modify the drawings based on what Jeff Morton and the engineers there agreed that needed to be changed. They met today here. Susan met out there with them. They walked, put boots on the ground, and went and looked at everything. And Jeff said that they're going to supply the project manager. They're going to do the bid. They'll bring everything in to us. We'll approve it, and then they'll send it out for bid. And he says we should get a lot of people bid on that. So we should definitely have more than one. That's what he said. So.
Did they look at the video and everything of the box cover?
Yeah, they've got all that information. So, yeah. The design of the cul-de-sac and supporting infrastructure to add permanent temporary easements once obtained. And I think that we had everything for the easement, right? Everything's been done on that now.
Yeah, because Evan had given us that other strip, and we had the stuff, the franchise stuff from Georgia Power, and Paul's, the whole stuff's literally on Powell Avenue there from last year.
Okay.
A lot of this was drawing changes to do the cul-de-sac because that hill, the slope of it was so
Yeah.
steep that it wasn't meeting the DOT standards, and to bring in dirt.
And it's only
back
one
from
way
that
anyway, even though they use it for two-way. It's only a one-way street. We sent the email, we sent the letters out to everybody. The only person we had that responded back was one
We had
person.
a lot of responses back. The only one that wasn't in favor of it was
Was just the one.
Mr.
And that's what I meant to say, sorry.
Johnson.
Yeah. But everyone else that we spoke with did not have an issue with it.
I've got those emails if you guys want to see them.
Is he gonna give us the easement to fix it through his yard, Mr. Johnson, through there?
So we have a right-of-way that covers that cul-de-sac where they can make the pipe bigger on the road. We own that, and then we have so much of a right-of-way that we can do. And if he doesn't give us, he says there's 9 springs or something through there, and if he doesn't give us an easement for that, Jeff, what can we do?
That's the question.
So,
What are we talking about?
the drainage on Spring Street. Terry Johnson's house sits here, so Spring Street is this way. You've got Terry Johnson's house here, and you have another one that he owns here. In between those two houses, we had a drainage area. It went under the road. There was a pipe and it went under the road across the property that we bought on Spring Street and fed into what we're gonna be replacing, which is a junction box, okay? What we're gonna have to do is, because that pipe is crushed, we need to replace it, so we're gonna dig the road up in that area, put the pipe down, and then take it all the way across and add it to the junction box. On this side of it, where Terry Johnson's properties are at, there's an area that really needs to be dug out somewhat and have riprap put in it, so that remains open. The new culvert, and would it be called culvert? That goes underneath the road.
Yeah.
So that pipe that's going underneath the road, it would remain open. People shoved all kinds of stuff in there, baby buggies, bicycles, tricycles, wood. There's a plethora of stuff in there. So do we, in order to be able to work on that, what would we need?
Is it outside, it's not exactly in the location of a present pipe, or it is?
It's a drainage ditch, it's not actually a pipe.
Yeah, it's just a drainage ditch right now.
So I don't know whether we already have some sort of easement there, maybe. Or it just was the way it was done, I don't know. If we don't have one, then we would probably need to get one.
If he doesn't want to give one.
Well, see, it's a drainage on the bottom mill over here.
Yeah, the roadway up here too.
If the property owner doesn't agree to give you an easement, then you have to condemn it. You have to take it. Eminent domain.
Okay, well, I'm sure that'll change something.
And there's no question about whether that happens. Obviously, you'd have to pay the fair market value for whatever it is you're taking, which you would do presumably the same in an agreement with him.
I mean, I don't want it to come to that.
It's ultimately inevitable.
That's not our goal at all, but we would like to fix it to where our drainage infrastructure is, it's supported and it's good on the back end.
No, if it's necessary, it's necessary.
Yeah.
Especially if it's in a general location of something really that's already there.
It'll help his property, it'll fix it right.
I'll let you read the emails.
Does the drainage ditch go all the area where we need it? Does the drainage ditch go all the way?
It's all the way back up, yeah.
Would the part that we're talking about needing to do work in within the same area, or is it outside, you think?
No, so if you've got you have a property, the first property here, you've got the hill that goes down, you've got the first property here, he owns that, but his nephew lives in it. Then the drainage ditch is between the two properties, and Terry is the next property. So you've got the two properties, and the drainage area is between them. It's not right up on either house or anything like that. So my goal though is, and I think our goal is if we're gonna spend this kind of money putting in, in a drainage system, we want to make sure that it's going to last for a long time. I mean, we can put the grate there like we did at the one up here, and that will help. But, it needs to be.
If there's an existing ditch there could be an old easement already there. We can look and see.
Can you check on that?
Yeah.
There should be an easement there because the water from the road goes there too.
Okay. Do you have a map that shows it?
The tomorrow company.
Did they make a map that shows it?
I don't know. Do we have a map that shows it?
Isn't that it on the water?
Well, I mean, we have the one from Barry, if that's what you're asking, but if you're talking about a city map and older one.
No, I just need a map that shows where we're talking, exactly where we're talking about. That's all I need, so. I'll get
I
that.
think they did one of the studies from that area though, and I'm thinking a lot of that was underground. I think some of them are
Just
tight.
show me the exact location after that. You can get after
You want to do
it?
it?
Do it right now.
Do you know where it's at?
We're talking about right in here, right? Spring Street, yeah, right in through here.
Try across the street from the mill.
Like if this map continued, the mill would be right over in here.
That way somewhere?
Yeah.
They have not drawn exactly what it is yet, exactly the location that they're talking about doing this, or is that still just conceptual?
No, well, they're going to replace the pipe underneath the road, and they're going to fix that. But in order, they'll have to, so you've got the road. You're going to have to access that property in order.
Show me afterwards.
Yeah, I will. I'll show it to you.
And I should ask him to get Evan's pipe marked on the things before they bid it out.
Yeah.
So there aren't issues on that end.
What's our right of way on that road?
We need to look
I
because
have
it's a big
everything written
trail.
down.
So we'll check the right of way as
I mean,
well.
it may be before we do what we need to stay in the right of way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it'd help his property if you go ahead and let you fix the ditch over there through there.
Yeah. I mean, you're not talking about anything but literally just getting it cleaned out, putting rip wrap on both sides of it so it would drain and not flood their yards.
Yeah.
We need to approve these changes before, because if Barry can't touch it until we approve.
Any questions on it before we vote to approve the changes?
I seen something on there about the landscape and taking it out.
Yeah, the county guys were talking about that today because a lot of the trees that they put in, and Susan may know more about this because they went and talked about it, but a lot of them were going to be under power lines once the lines were relocated. So
Why don't we just take it out until the road's done and
I think
have
that was
somebody
what
come
the county
in?
kind of said, or nothing very.
Yeah, I thought we already did that.
Well, at one point they did, because it was gonna be slow. They
Right.
want something in the ground for root system to hold it. And they're checking to see right now if, can't put those autumn trees that I like in there, but they're talking about maybe dogwoods that have a good root system that won't get as tall.
But they did want to check with Georgia Power to make sure that those would get too high.
Yeah. So they're gonna check with that to start with, but they definitely said you want to put something back there for the ground, for the root system to hold
I
that
mean,
dirt.
we could take it out of bid and just have a landscape company do whatever we wanted to.
Could.
Probably cheaper in the long run because they're just gonna hire one to come out and do it.
Okay,
The changes that are on here though were strictly for. the
that's just for
engineer to
Barry, the
make
engineer, to
changes,
make the changes.
So he can hand the project over to the county so he can get it out. Yeah, was to change it over to a cul-de-sac and do some other changes the county wanted done before they take care of them.
And I did ask if it would be cheaper, for the county's engineer to do it, and he's told me no. So
Yeah.
this is gonna be the best way to go.
So we're sticking with Barry.
For the changes.
The county stuck with him because of cost on that SPOS project. He'd already done all that, and all he's gotta do is just modify those drawings. If you have somebody else, you've got an initial cost, then you've got modifications. So it's just gonna cost more money. He said it would be cheaper just to have Barry do the modifications for them that they agreed on, and then, so they're in control, so to speak, and they've talked about the modifications that are needed, and then Barry's just gonna make the modifications, because it's, like I said, it's cheaper for us.
And that's payable out of SPOS, right?
Yeah, it is.
Now, what's gonna be on this whole bid, like when they get done modifying?
Everything will stay, and we're gonna take landscaping out. We need to make a note of that.
When the sidewalk, and then
The
the
turn
added cul-de-sac.
lane, it'll be a cul-de-sac, and then all of the drainage pipes and everything that we agreed on.
Did they make a decision where they're gonna take the culvert out and replace it all the way with new pipe, or
Yeah,
that's probably the.
yeah, it's all the way. So take.
It's gonna be the nicest thing to do.
Yeah,
Yeah, but just pieced up now.
It's beautiful.
yeah. Action. Okay, so I'll get with Barry on that. I'll go ahead and I've got to send him an email anyway. So I'll take an action on that to take landscaping out for now. And then we still want him to find out if the dogwoods would be a good fit, but we'll take landscaping out. Okay. All right. Any other questions on that? Okay. Can I get a motion to approve the 10 to 12,000, just say 12,000 on the high end, changes, modifications for the Kennesaw Avenue drainage project?
Make a motion.
Can I get a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor? Unanimous, thank you. Discuss and vote on revised road repair estimate on Old Nelson Highway, and I'm going to turn this one over to Kelsey because she's done the legwork on it and has all the
This is a timeline. Yeah, they originally gave us an estimate, I think, going from memory, it was around $6,500. And this was for the damage that was up in front of the quarry entrance on Old Nelson Road, in front of the quarry and the stair company. Whenever they went back up and looked at it, they said the damage was much more extensive than they anticipated, and it was getting worse. So he went back up and looked at it, and said that they suggest that they go in from, if you're going to head north from Jordan Road to turn onto Old Nelson Road. From the city limit sign, he went and marked it, drive north, head up, right past the quarry, come right up to the top of the hill, and he marked it again. And they went up and just repaved that whole section, all the way up. And it was coming out to it, it's right at $133,000. I did ask him to go and price out doing the entire road from that city limit sign all the way to in front of Mike Haviland's house, where the county had gone in and just paved that other little area. And that estimate's on the next page. It was going to be right over $500,000, pretty close to $600,000. So, big difference. The first one, like, we've got to do something in front of the quarry, because that's just,
It's going to continue to deteriorate, that's the thing.
yeah.
If they don't have to use all them 34 stones and stuff like that, they take it off, like it says on that patch.
Yeah, I don't know anything about any of that, so.
I mean, that's,
Yeah, he said I doubt you would need the entire 4 of the 34 stone over the entire distance, but like I said earlier, I figured it high intentionally, and the rate for us to put it down would be the same.
Yeah, so basically we pay for labor and material. So the high estimate to do the entire road, he's giving me a very high estimate on it, you know, with the intention that it would come down if you did the entire thing. But with that being said, we're also about to do Kennesaw Ave project, which is going to eat up a large chunk of that budget. So my suggestion would be to get this fixed, if we're going to do that, and then put the money towards that, and then if you're going to go and get the rest of that paved at some point, go in and do the rest of it later.
now, it hasn't been long since we paid for Mike Haviland's back to the first stop sign.
Yeah, I don't think it was in terrible shape. There were a couple of
That
like,
should be good there,
Yeah.
but
I just had him, because you had asked me to have him, just the estimate for the rest of it, but that area where those trucks are traveling, like the high traffic area, is breaking down.
And they don't have any responsibility for it at all.
And the road.
that's what I wondered too, is the rock quarries and the concrete plants and.
That was if we own the road, and then we get Elming funds, we get SPOS funds and all that to keep up with it. If we didn't take the road,
If it's
then,
a public road, anybody can drive anything on it. I mean, there's, cities try to, if there are other routes, they'll try to route trucks around, but this one,
Maybe
what are
we
you
should
gonna
put a
do?
permanent
It's where trucks
speed bump
go,
up
right?
there. If we put a permanent speed bump up there, they'll go to the ball ground, that way come up.
Go around it.
I mean, I'm just saying, if we're gonna spend that kind of money to do it, maybe we need to put a couple speed bumps down and they would come in that
well,
way.
with that said, and James and I talked about this and before, there were plans previously to have a road that went straight across and straight down to Highway 5, and there was a whole industrial park through
I think the
there.
railroad company put a stop to that
No.
about crossing the
Well,
tracks.
James, we had talked, the city
See,
didn't want
we
to pay for the
voted for this
stoplight
crossing to be took out
at Spring
in
Street.
2000, Spring Street.
They had to lose one of the
Open
crossings
that one
here
up.
to open one down there.
You got to do away with one and put another cross.
So it makes you wonder if that could be done again, and then if we could have a road there, then it would get rid of a lot of the, because then all they would be doing is crossing the street.
Right.
Just saying, just food for thought.
It would be better if you could do that. but
Yeah.
We're
Well,
gonna have
then
to do
you
this.
could have that
in the meantime.
industrial area, and that would generate revenue at the same time.
But now this is a high estimate, it could be considerably cheaper.
I would assume so. He usually estimates high, because all they charge us for materials and they charge us for their actual labor costs. There's not anything padded in there, where they're not, you know, there's not percentages added in or anything for,
He was talking about coming up a hill there next to the power line right away.
Yeah, where-
I'm thinking so. It's like, because you go up, I drove it, and took pictures, but it was, I didn't go
Where
through
the
and do a
power
mile
line
marker of
crosses
it.
Old Nelson down there.
It passes that, because it passes the stair, you pass the quarry, you pass the
Right.
stair company, and then you come up that hill, and when you get to the top of that hill, he had marked the ground again with paint.
Yeah.
Have you talked to Miranda about this here?
I'm not, but we keep getting money from the SPOS and from the SPOS.
Well, I mean, I know we're getting SPOS, and that would be all Cherokee, right?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I know we
Somewhere
haven't
around a half
touched
a
any
mile,
of that.
So,
I'm thinking,
somewhere around a half a mile.
I'm thinking it was at least that much.
For the fire line.
I'm thinking
No,
so.
that's
I mean,
hardly
it
a
was,
half a mile.
In worst case scenario, we might, even if we had to push
Yeah.
back Laurel Lake for a few months, we can still do that. That'd save us $25,000.
yeah.
So there'll be a third of that as well.
But I mean, that's on, like, they put that much in Maryland's bus.
This is gonna be summertime before they do this too.
So Cherokee, where are we at with Cherokee?
More than
There's
that.
the-
We're doing.
That's getting bad up there.
Yeah, these.
Yeah, so that's Cherokee. I think that one is, this is the new difference. That's difference. I
Okay,
think this is,
so yeah, we've got enough to do it. We've got, in the new account, we've got $417,000 and February's coming up, so you'll have $420,000. We could definitely do that.
yeah, well, I mean.
And it's not bother Kennesaw Ave, because you
Yeah.
still have all this one right here, the $664,000.
That's what I'm saying, if we
Yeah,
start
we just-
spending this and using this money, we're gonna come home.
Well, the thing about it is we knew, we've got that project, and we know that we're looking at $500,000 for this Kennesaw Ave project. You are, at least, so, but we've got another $420,000 to play with for that road.
Well,
And
we've got the Pickens closet, it's been coming in at $24,000 a month.
yeah, but the
I
road.
know, it's on this side,
It's
I'm
on
just
this
saying
side,
in
yeah.
general though. And the one for Cherokee's been coming in,
So 133 is not
17,
too
I
bad.
think.
We
A month.
could definitely do it without it bothering. How much for a month?
so the last few been around 17.
Okay. So that pushes us over the 20,000 per month. Any questions on that? Are you guys good with voting on it?
Excuse me. I have a question on that, about the quarry. Does that contract include milling and deep patching the bad areas?
That's to do that whole section, I think to just pull everything out and redo it was my understanding. It was, we've been in there for an inch and a half of topping, 2.5 inches of binder, 4 inches of 34 stone, 4 inches of GAB, I was gonna like some it out. Hit 40 loads. Estimate for Public Works to put down asphalt would be $90 to $95 per ton. And the total cost for that portion was right at $66,000. So I know that he said that there was a lot of the damage was really deep underneath it. It wasn't something they could just pour asphalt on top of it. And
Well, I work for Playing Tongue, that's why I know several areas need some very deep patching.
yeah, because initially they said they could probably just go in and do like one deep patch like right in that area, and it was around $6,500. And when they went back up and looked at it, he said you could do it, but it's not going to hold. You're going to be right back in the same situation. So you're throwing good money after that, basically.
If you want to spend a little extra now, if you don't, it's 2 or 3 years down the road, you'll have the same problem again.
Exactly.
Okay, council. Any more questions on the road paving before we go? Can I get a motion to approve the
Can we get them to
130?
email us kind of a square footage of what they want to do and everything, description of the length of it? Which I haven't had a chance to ride out there and see what they're paying, and how many feet it is and everything like that.
I can go up and check it, or I can show you where it is, and then
Well, I can
measure
do
it.
there tomorrow, maybe put it in the email, how many feet it is, or,
It says to pave the entire road, the 2-mile stretch.
that's for that.
That was for the entire road.
Yeah.
And I may have it in there, I just printed out the last one.
It doesn't have it on the pad.
Anyway, go back to the next section, because I normally just put the whole email in there, so I don't want to
Yeah.
what he's saying. He says for
Sign, which is the area where
both
you guys
lanes.
sitting on the side of the top of Little Hill, just north of the quarry entrance.
And on that other, they give us a square footage, what kind of square footage and stuff they do. But I didn't see anything in that.
I think this one's an attachment that came in with that, and then he went back in and did the estimate for the entire road.
Give you kind of timelines.
No, well, I'd originally asked him about the stuff for Laurel Lake, and right now they're waiting for the weather to clear up some, because it got cold and then with rain and stuff, and I know that one was supposed to be one of the next ones on there, and they didn't realize how bad the damage was, so he called and said they didn't want to do it until they had another estimate out, because it wasn't, basically it was thrown away anyway, if they did it based on the original estimate.
And every time it rains, it's worse. You good with it? Okay.
Yeah, I just like to have a description.
We'll get you
More
one.
detailed description.
All right. Can I get a motion to approve the $133,000 for the road repair on Nelson Road?
I make a motion.
Second.
James, David. All in favor? Unanimous, thank you. All right. Next up is to vote on, discuss and vote on the cleaning the park bathrooms in the city hall for COVID-19. My thoughts are on that personally. I do think that we should continue cleaning the city hall after major meetings like this for the next, just say, we can do it on a month-by-month basis, but COVID is really, it's hit our city, it's hit our counties, and it's even hit us here, so in our small town. So I think that goes a long way in keeping folks safe. Especially our park bathrooms where kids play, and we have a lot of people playing there now. A lot of kids there, on sunny days because it's nice out and people are not wanting to take their kids, other places. Parks seems kind of safe, so I would like to see the council approve it through the end of this month and then look at it at our next meeting and maybe go to 2 times a week. Do a deep clean on those bathrooms a couple times a week, and then the city hall after our major meeting. So, what are your thoughts?
What about approving it for quarterly? That makes more sense than
I mean, things change. The only reason I said month to month, that I don't mind doing it quarterly if that's what you guys want to do. I don't know where we'll be. I know that I'm on some calls once a month. Or bi-weekly now, that talks about, what we're seeing in hospitals and in Cherokee County. They don't have one for Pickens, but I do keep up with that through other means. But they're seeing a lot of it in Cherokee County. So, and I know we have the school, the kids play there that are on the school and keeping people safe. I think it's a small price to pay. And I do believe that we're going to get another, I believe they're going to open up another one of the care grants as well. They're talking very favorably about that. We got quite a bit of money in that last CARES grant, so I think there'll be plenty to handle the big job. We're really not putting out that much when you think about it. So.
Is the cleaning coming out of the general fund right now?
It's coming out of general fund through the Parks and Rec line item, that it will end up being a budget revision that goes in because of the CARES grant funds that we got. We just have to go in and do an amendment to it. Because we got back, I think it was half my salary and a quarter in Miranda's. It was about $20,000 or $26,000.
$26,000.
That was just excess that we can put towards other things. So, and because the other things were specific that we went in and requested, like changing cloth chairs to leather chairs, or doing things that like you had to spend that specific money on a specific item. Whereas the reimbursement money wasn't, it was open, and we haven't spent the reimbursement money that was sent back. So that money's still, there's money for that.
And I think if we do like maybe Monday, Wednesday, Friday, do the cleaning just 3 days a week for the bathrooms, I think that's pretty good as well. go in and just do a sanitation and clean everything with the Clorox like we've been doing. And you're looking at roughly $150 a week, so for $550 for the month, so to do it that way. And then, of course, the cleaning for in here, which we pay, I think we pay $300 for that, and it's the whole thing. Bathrooms, kitchen. I know the last time they were in here, I had them take everything out of the refrigerator, wipe everything down with Clorox, and wash her walls. So they didn't give us a fit, they did it, you know. So it's roughly $800 a month is what we're spending, or we would be spending. Right now, we're spending a little bit more. If we cut back to 3 days a week, yeah.
And what handed around like 3,000 a month right now or something?
Right now, it's 1,500 a month.
1,500 a month. So doing it the 3 times a week would take us back to about $850.
But it depends on case counts too.
Yeah, and like I said, if we need to bump it back up to 5 days or 6, 7 days a week, depending on case counts, I mean, I would do that, definitely.
If it's, I mean, this summer, if it's still not any better,
Well, it's
we'll have to.
Yeah, it's this cold weather right now that it's, I guess, able to breed in. Because, I mean, we've got a lot of it, even right here in our town. I was so surprised at how many just deaths that we've had.
School that are going in the bathrooms, they're going in the park every single day.
But through this month, I'd like to do it every day, and then, look at it next month and see about doing it. We can revisit it next month for 3 days a week.
It's fine with me.
Okay, let's go ahead and get I'd like you guys to vote on that. So can I get a motion to approve, right now, 7 days a week for the bathrooms and 1 cleaning a month for the city hall?
Make a motion to approve 7 days a week on the
I think it's 6 days.
bathroom.
6 a week.
6 days a week.
6 days a week.
Okay, so Nathan, and can I get a second?
I'll second.
James, all in favor? Unanimous, thank you. All right, new business. Discuss and vote on yearly appointments. Okay. So our yearly appointments will be Mayor Pro Tem, Municipal Judge, City Solicitor, City Building Inspector, Financial Manager, City Clerk, and check signers. Okay? Last year, our Mayor Pro Tem was James Queen. The City Attorney was Jeff Rusbridge. Municipal Judge is Mr. Rick Jones. The City Solicitor was Mr. Jeff Rusbridge. City Building Inspector was Mr. William Fortner. Financial Manager, Miranda McDowell. City Clerk, Kelsey Reel. Check signers, Kelsey Reel, James McQueen, Chad Green, and Mr. Nathan Hamby. Those were from last year. So, can we look at Mayor Pro Tem first?
I'll nominate James Queen.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Unanimous. Thank you, Mr. Quinn. You be Mayor Pro Tem again?
I'd like to do
Give them a
it.
chance.
Okay. Municipal Judge. Can I get a motion to appoint Jeff Rusbridge for Municipal Judge? Sorry. Or, I told y'all this COVID's messing with me.
You won't get your vote, I'll win every time.
Mr. Well, she had it down here one way, we got it up there another, but anyway. Municipal Judge, Mr. Rick Jones. I'm going to motion. Okay, Martha, and can I get a second?
Second.
Nathan, all in favor? Unanimous, thank you.
This was supposed to say solicitor / attorney and
Okay, we're going to do city solicitor / city attorney. Can I get a motion to approve Jeff Rusbridge, please?
Make a motion to approve.
Okay, so we got Nathan, and can I get a second?
Second.
David, all right, all in favor?
I think it's right, just one.
Unanimous, thank you.
And by the way,
City Building Inspector, are we still going to go with Mr. Fortner? Can I get a motion to approve Mr. William Fortner for a city building inspector?
Make a motion to approve Mr. William Ford.
Any second?
I'll second it.
Okay. All in favor? Unanimous, thank you. All right, as our city financial manager, can I get a motion to approve, for Miss Miranda McDowell?
Make a motion to approve Miranda McDowell on financial manager.
Any second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Unanimous, thank you. All right, Kelsey Real for city clerk.
I don't know about that.
That's what I'm thinking.
Can we think about it?
Right there with you.
I'll play the keeper.
Along with that big fat raise. Just so you know there.
Can I get a motion to approve Kelsey Real for city clerk?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, James, David, thank you, all in favor? Unanimous? All right, check signers.
These are kind of already in place, but it was on the last one, so I put it on here. And it's currently, I'm on there, James is on there, Nathan's on there, and Susan is on there. And it was voted on prior to that, so just FYI.
All right, so I guess for 2021, I need a motion to approve Kelsey Real, James Queen, Nathan Hamby, and Susan Johnston. Can I get a motion to approve?
I make a motion that we keep the check signers as Kelsey, James, Nathan, and Susan.
Get a second, please.
Second.
Okay. All in favor? Unanimous. Anything else I need to do, Mr. Chairman?
There was something. No, continue. Yeah, that is more, I didn't put a thing in there. The property taxes were currently due January 13th. I was sick, for several weeks. So I was seeing if there was a way to officially extend that, which may be more of a question for you, because I know there are people that called in. I had access to everything remotely as far, like I did come in and put in everything that was mailed in or came in via electronically. I did not have access to phone, and there were people that called and left messages. There were other people that got sick and then were sending stuff in. So I just don't, I know there's technicalities with the audit that we can get in trouble if I don't have things recorded in the minutes that they were approved. So I just wanted to see if we could bump out, like, and do like a 1-month extension on the payment due date.
Yeah, do
But I
that.
wanted to make sure I don't get in trouble for
So
asking.
we would vote on that? Okay.
So make the payment due date technically, instead of being January 13th, I would say February 13th.
Okay.
But it just made a 1-month extension, so there weren't late fees because of the stupid fire stuff.
Can I get a motion to extend the property tax due date to February the 17th due to the 13th due to sickness?
I'll make a motion to extend the due date to February 13th.
Get a second?
Second.
All in favor? Unanimous, thank you.
No, it's in the minutes, so you don't get
Now it's in the minutes and Kelsey won't get in trouble, okay? Next up is executive session. Can I get a motion to adjourn to executive session?
I'll make a motion to adjourn to executive.
Get a second, please.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you. We'll be right back. David, James, all in favor?
Give us a second.
Session?
Give a second.
Oh, James.
And I can pretty much tell you what's going on in the next motion.
All right.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn, please.
Who's next?
David, and I need a second.
Second.
I say
James.
it's usually more of a.
There you go.